Welcome to Create Your Own Reality, a show about hope, inspiration, and encouragement. A program that will feature guests and topics that may inspire you to think and stretch your beliefs about what is real and how you can create miracles in your life. Your hosts, Badeish Lange and Pauline Norton.
Hello and welcome. Badeish is usually my co-host, but she's changing roles for this edition of Create Your Own Reality. Today, she is going to be my guest. In addition to co-hosting our program, Badeish is a psychic medium, a medical intuitive, and a life skills coach. We'll learn how Badeish acquired these skills and how she uses them. We'll also discuss thought-provoking topics such as spiritual psychology and quantum physics. Badeish, this is fun. I get to ask you questions instead of you asking questions with me. So I've known you for quite a long time, and I personally know that Badeish is not your given name, and I'm sure that people, somebody asked me one time, I said, I have this friend named Badeish. She said, what country is she from?
Exactly.
So how did you acquire your name?
Exactly. Well, I didn't make the name up. I was 3 years old. I was in the hospital, and I had an inner ear infection that was very serious. And the doctor and my parents was out in the hallway discussing what they were going to do with my little body to get the temperature down. And while they were out in the hallway, an angel appeared next to my bed, and her name was Badeish. And she spoke to me telepathically, and she told me...
Which means, if people don't know what telepathic is...
Oh, I think they do.
They do, okay.
I think they do.
I do, from mind to mind.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, how else would a child be able to interpret if it wasn't hearing the words in your mind? And basically, she gave me some instructions and healed me.
Did that angel ever appear to you again?
Yes.
Is it your? Did you find out? Is it your guardian angel?
It's my guardian angel. Yes, she appeared again when I was about 37 years old, in the middle of the night, about 3 o'clock in the morning, and she was holding a chalice. And I had been praying, and she appeared and spoke to me again telepathically and said, God has heard your prayers, here are the gifts. And I've told this story before, and it's emotional for me because I got knocked out. I mean, the light, she turned into a light, hit me, came into my body, knocked me out, and I was in a raptured experience for about a week and a half, and I was so happy in my spirit, and I was doing things I had never done before, and so I had to find a way to...
For instance, what were you doing?
Well, I was reading people. I was hearing angels. I was hearing my grandmother was visiting, and I was hearing my grandmother was getting ready to pass, and so I was actually hearing angels that were talking to my grandmother, and she'd look at me and she'd say, honey, did you hear that? And I was trying to stay very grounded because there wasn't anyone around me at the time that could explain this phenomenon that I was experiencing, but it was beautiful.
You said at 3 she gave you instructions. Could you remember what they were?
Well, yes, she told me that I had signed a contract and that I could stay or I could go. It was that serious.
Even at 3, you could, because your spirit is older, you understood what was going on.
Well, I don't know if I understood all of it that I understand today. I just remember I had some instruction. And I can remember back to that age. And basically, I chose to stay, and she said that I was here on a mission, and the mission was to find out about the emotional conditions of the human species. So that's what I do. I'm empathic, and so I go into the emotional body, and there is just a whole world of color in there.
So you're fortunate in that you came here to do, you're doing what you came here to do, in other words.
Yes.
So when you were 37, did you have any psychic abilities that you knew of before you were 37?
No, I didn't really experience the psychic abilities in that way. What I did experience was a lot of ghosts. Everywhere I lived, it seemed as though there were ghosts.
When you were a child, you were seeing people?
Yes, I was very intimidated. And emotional about that, and it sort of caused me to withdraw a little bit, actually. But as I got older and I started having guidance, you might say, then I had this...
From your guardian?
Yes, yeah, I just felt protected. There were situations where I was born on Friday the 13th, and I feel like I had 9 lives. And there were situations where my life definitely was protected. So, yes, when she gave me the name at 37 and instructions to take it on legally when I was 40, and that's what I did. I threw a party and invited 100 people and changed my name, and it changed my life.
I know what you mean about feeling protected. I won't get into it, but I know because I have felt that way, although I've never seen angels. And I don't want to belabor this point, but as a child and seeing ghosts, I just got to ask you this. Did you tell other people, and how did you handle it? And okay, that had to be really...
No, it's just like children today that are very sensitive. Rarely do they say anything to anybody about it.
Yeah, they're afraid to.
Yeah.
Now, we mentioned too in the intro that you were a psychic medium. Before we get it, what does it mean to be most people understand psychic. What does it mean to be a psychic medium?
It's the combination of being able to see the past, the present, and the future situations in people's lives. But also the mediumship is that spirit is actually talking to you, whether they are angels or they are people that have passed on. I contact people's relatives for them through photographs. That's how I use my mediumship.
Yes, and we're going to talk about, well, why don't we talk about that now? Because I have some other questions, but you led into it. So not every medium or psychic uses photographs.
No.
And I remember because I came to you and with other people, I brought people to you, and you would look at a picture, and if I asked, I'll just say a person, I won't say who, had a boyfriend, and they wanted to know if this might be a good match. So that might be one reason a person would come to you?
I think it has many levels to it, because in a photograph, especially if I can see their eyes, I can penetrate into their field, through their auric field, and through their eyes. And so that person becomes available to me. And I'm able to dialogue, actually, through the photograph.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's an exchange of information. Like, some women will come to me and say, will I ever get married? And I'll see a time frame, and I'll see actually the future mate shows up, and it's very interesting. Sometimes it starts with looking at their feet, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing a full body image, and then that spirit starts talking to me about their relationship with their say their mother. It'll answer questions from a picture.
And you don't have to have permission, because usually you have to have permission to...
It just seems that they're available to me. If I think if it was something that I sense that won't be appropriate, then I don't go there. There's only been 3 times in my life reading a photograph that I refused to read.
And that was because?
It's the energy that was coming off of the photograph was so negative that it really affected me. It scared me.
Did you warn the people?
Yes.
You know, this makes me think that if employers, it might be a good way to hire employees. You know, I did a show on handwriting analysis, and the lady I had, you know, that was a way some employers would hire. They'd have somebody write, and they could tell the personality. So I would think that using the photographs might be a...
Well, you know, the thing with my work is I never wanted anyone to feel as though I'm doing any kind of judgment. It's more of just giving them insights and choices. It's like I can look at a photograph and I can see a pattern that may be going on, for instance, with that person that's in the photograph. And then I can discuss that with my client, and then she can or he can decide if it's something that they want to step into.
Yeah, you
but
don't
if
tell
you
them
know
what to
if
do.
there's alcoholism or drug use, it's there. It's there. And also if they're into pornography. I've had several clients who've come to me and their husbands are into pornography. Now, I can't tell them that, but
they didn't know it.
No. But that's where it gets really delicate, and I have to be very careful.
What would you say?
Well, in a situation like that, if it's point blank, and she asked me, I said, well, I suspect it's true, and then I go on to another subject.
Okay, she already suspected it, but if they didn't have a clue, you wouldn't actually...
I don't bring it up.
Don't bring it up. Okay. That's really, it must be hard as a psychic.
You have to discern.
Yeah.